Hey everybody, Black Ninja 797 here, and welcome back to another video, guys. In today's Left 4 Dead 2 video, this is going to be another episode of Myth Busting Mondays. For the final myth of today's episode, this is going to be a very interesting set of results, because even as I'm making this intro for the episode, I'm still baffled at the results I got, because it really just doesn't make sense. You guys are understand what I mean at the end of the episode, but you'll just have to see it for yourself, and then you might too also agree with me about like how bizarre the results were. But yeah, the results are going to be just completely a surprise, but however though, I will let you know what the final myth is. The final myth is going to be, can you possess and play as the Left 4 Dead 1 crew on the passing? I'm asking, basically, can I play as Zoe, Francis, or Lewis, even though I should only be limited to Ellis, Nick, Coach, and Rochelle? So that's going to be the final myth of today's episode. And once again, if I have not said already, if you guys happen to enjoy today's episode of Myth Busting Mondays, please show your support by dropping a like and comment down below what you would like to see for the next episode. But yeah, guys, let's get on with this week's episode of Myth Busting Mondays. Myth. Can you win Chomsky using melee weapons? Alrighty guys, so we have done our fair share of myths on Dark Carnival, because a lot of the Carnival games are just really good for myth material, and specifically the Chomsky myths, because the Chomsky, Garden Gnome, there's so many different ways that you can end up using him throughout the game, and one of the ways that I wanted to try to do these myths is by seeing different ways you can end up trying to win him. So far, we have tried the grenade launcher, and we've also done some other myths where you can end up seeing if maybe you can use him to end up earning prizes or other rewards in the game other than himself. And now what I want to do is I want to see, can you end up earning Chomsky by only using melee weapons? So what I have done is I put on no clip because you can't go into the spot without it. I go into the Chomsky, like, little target range area, and I'm using a chainsaw with unlimited ammo to try to melee, or in this case slash, the skeletons, because the skeletons are the main way that you end up getting the most amount of points to end up getting the Chomsky prize. And you can see I got 150 points there, but it's not even nearly as close as what I need to actually be able to earn Chomsky legitimately. Now, here's the thing, is that the problem is with no clip is that any little micro adjustment that you try to make, because trust me, you will need to make many, it's very hard to end up getting in the exact spot that you need to be able to end up meleeing any of the skeletons. If you turn no clip off, you just can't move, so you have to keep this on. And this is just so unpractical. This is just ridiculous. Now, keep in mind that if you were using cheats, but however though, if you wanted to include 3 other people and had 4 of you, you may have a better shot at completing this challenge. But however though, I only got 150 at the max. Even if you and 3 other people managed to end up getting 150 points worth of damage to these guys, you still wouldn't have enough points altogether amongst the 4 of you to be able to end up getting enough to be able to get Chomsky. You would be actually only at 600 compared to 750, which means that's way too low. So in my opinion, I'm going to leave this as busted, because no clip makes it unpractical with how fast you move, and it's just too ridiculous to assume you can do this. Myth. Can you destroy a gas can as a special infected without a survivor picking it up first? Alrighty guys, so the way that I'm going to be going about this myth, I have to give you guys a little bit of backstory first. So for those of you guys that don't know, there is a couple of ways that you can end up destroying a gas can in Left 4 Dead, and some of them are by the special infected. However though, there is a lot of the times this specific catch, and that's the survivors have to pick it up first. Because when a gas can is picked up by a survivor, it will go from the highlight of white to the highlight of yellow, indicating to a special infected that they can indeed end up damaging it and destroying it. This is most useful in the game mode Scavenger, and even though it is an unpopular mode, some people do end up liking it, and it would be very beneficial to people if they could end up avoiding the special infected destroying their gas cans. There's also an achievement that came with The Last Stand as well, that makes it so that way if you end up trying to end up destroying, I believe, a certain number of gas cans, you actually end up getting an achievement. You have to play as like the spitter and end up destroying a certain tally, and then you end up getting the reward. Now the thing is though, is that traditionally you have to wait for a survivor to pick up these items first, so that way you just don't go off on the map by yourself and just end up doing nothing other than trying to destroy some inanimate object. Because that's thrilling, right? But yeah, the idea is that what I want to do, and this is the gameplay that you've been seeing on the screen the last like several seconds here, is me just going off in a random part of the map trying to do that said thing. And that is beating the crap out of a gas can and just seeing if it blows up. Now keep in mind, my goal up to here was to try to end up having it where I would just melee this as a jockey for probably what was the longest time that you'll ever end up seeing this very set action in all of Left 4 Dead's history, because I don't know anybody that just ends up taking the time out of their day to go melee random gas cans. So I end up trying to melee this gas can over 100 times. Well over what you would think that would be practical, because a lot of people just wait for it to go yellow. And I'm pretty sure that this is definitely something that's coded in the game. Realistically, I doubt that this is going to actually break unless the survivor picks it up. But my curiosity is always, there, and I want to make sure that I can try to be able to end up showing you guys cool tips and tricks if something ends up shining in light, because you never know unless you try something, so this was my test. And I can just tell you guys this realistically, and pretty strongly, I doubt that this works. So even though this could be plausible, I am just going to label this as busted just for the sake of, I don't know anyone, even if they did have the slightest interest in doing this, if there would even remotely be a different result. I just don't think this is something possible. It very well could be, but my confidence is so strong that this is not going to work. I'm just going to label this busted. Myth. Can you trap the survivors in the sewers of No Mercy? Alrighty guys, so what I'm doing right now is that I am on the 3rd chapter of No Mercy, and I'm just trying to melee a trash can right to the ladder of the sewer of No Mercy, right before you emerge, where you would end up going straight to the No Mercy hospital. And I'm just trying to see if by blocking the ladder, because this is only a one-way in and a one-way out type of, area. You can't go anywhere else other than on the ladder. I just want to see if it's possible to block people. So I'm looking, if you don't put it to the very edge, it does look like you can end up getting around. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, there might be a chance. But I'm like, you know what? I don't want to necessarily just assume. Let me just make sure about this. So I'm pushing this, this trash can right to the very edge before it falls in. And I just want to see, is it possible to completely block everyone from coming in and out of this sewer? And it looks like it's pretty damn blocked, so I'm going to try to go down and see if I can try to climb it myself, but it seems I actually end up getting stuck here. And so what I'm going to do is now that this is a perfect opportunity for this, I'm going to unthaw Bill, Francis, and Lewis and see if they'll be able to rescue me. And it looks like Bill can't get to me. The trash can's completely blocking him. The only reason why he got to me is because he was able to teleport, and that's because he is a bot. And Lewis and Francis are also stuck. They're just not moving. They're actually completely stuck. And without the ability to teleport like the bots do, I can definitely see a person actually getting stuck here. And believe it or not, it wouldn't be, that far-fetched to assume that the infected could do this to you. So yeah, this is confirmed. And the reason why I say that this wouldn't be too far-fetched for the infected to also do this to you, by the way, I saw a video a while back of a boomer doing this exact same strategy, and I was just curious if it was a fluke or if there was maybe perhaps mods in the server. But yeah, other than the cosmetic mods, this was a completely legitimate server, other than of course me freezing the bots in place so they would patiently wait for me. And yeah, you can block survivors, and you can do it even as the special infected too, based off the original video I saw, so you can be very trolly with this. Myth. Can you make the survivors talk to a clone of themselves? Alrighty guys, I am on the passing right now, and I am very shortly going to end up teleporting to Zoe and Francis. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to end up using my console commands to spawn in bot versions of themselves, so that way there is multiple of them, and just seeing what happens. So I'm inside of the area where they normally are in the finale of the passing. We're going to use the console commands. Let's end up seeing what happens. Okay, that's very weird. Zoe and Francis teleported away from me back into the map. That was bizarre. I figured that they would actually end up staying here and spawning in clones, but no, apparently the menu is treating it as if that it's wanting me to interact with the already existing Zoe and Francis bots. And Francis and Zoe teleport back, but that's not what I wanted. I was hoping that it would make duplicates of them, because isn't that the point, is to spawn in more bots with these console commands? I mean, I'm not the most tech savvy with the console commands, but I mean, like, it seems like it's only interacting with the current Zoe and Francis and not ending up making a clone. So that's very bizarre. Now guys, once again, I want to reiterate, I'm not the most tech savvy in the world when it comes to the Left 4 Dead console commands. I use them very casually, believe it or not. So if there's a certain result that could have happened that was different than the results that I got, I don't know how I would achieve it, so if you guys can inform me in the comment section down below, because you guys have some very helpful comments, maybe we can see if we can get a different result. So for this particular myth, guys, I'm going to leave it at plausible, because right now, I don't want to necessarily definitively say it's confirmed or busted, because I really have only tested this once/twice, and I really don't have the means to be able to end up making any further tests before I can give a definitive answer. So I would appreciate any help, because that way I can be able to possibly address this myth again in a future episode, because I don't mind going back to the possibility of redoing old myths. Alright guys, and now we're on the final myth of today's episode. So this is now going to be the myth. Can you play as the Left 4 Dead 1 survivors in the finale of The Passing? Because keep in mind, once again, I want to reiterate, you should theoretically only be able to play as Ellis, Nick, Coach, and Rochelle, not the Left 4 Dead 1 crew. They're supposed to be bots and AI that just assist you around the map. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up the finale of The Passing, and with console commands, I'm going to try to end up possessing Zoe, Francis, and Lewis, and we're just going to see what happens. Myth. Can you take control of the Left 4 Dead 1 crew in The Passing? Alrighty guys, so we are on the final myth now. We are on the finale of The Passing, and we're walking straight up to Zoe, Lewis, and Francis right now. And just a brief moment in time, I am going to end up using the console commands to end up trying to take control of all three of them. And we're just going to do process of elimination and just see what happens. I'm curious if it's going to be one of them, or maybe even all of them. Let's end up typing in the command. We're just going to wait and see. So here we go. I'm typing in, the console command to be able to take control of Zoe first, and let's see what happens. Okay, that is really weird. Okay, and unless Zoe's all of a sudden identifying as a dude and wants to become like Nick, then I have no idea why the hell that I became Nick. Nick, do you have boobs? I have no idea why the hell did I become Nick. Unless Zoe secretly has a dick, what the hell happened? Okay, let's try to do this now with Lewis and see what happens here. And now all of a sudden I'm as Rochelle, or in this case, the Rochelle that looks like Zoe. So I technically am Zoe, but I'm the wrong Zoe, so okay, that's very bizarre. I don't know if it's getting confused, or if it's like, here, let me try Francis. I'm gonna just try Francis, because he's the only character left that's alive, so let's try Francis. Alright, let's see. And now I'm Coach. Okay, so unless the game's screwing with me, then I have no idea why the hell that this is happening. So I think that because that they are, like, up there, they're maybe not players yet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that instead of giving up on this right away, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the bottom floor, and I'm going to end up actually making it where this finale starts, and with them as running around as players, even though they'll be AI, they'll be running around rather than just standing still. I'm hoping that since Zoe and Francis and Lewis will all be running around shooting and basically being like traditional AI, that maybe I'll be able to possess them then. Alright, let's try to possess Zoe again, and nope, I got Ellis back. See, it would make sense if, like, the pairing was, like, similar, because in the game's files, it treats Nick like Bill, Coach like Lewis, Zoe like Rochelle, and Francis like Ellis. But trying to become Zoe and getting Ellis makes no sense. For clarification's sake, by the way, in case you guys are wondering, I don't have any other mods on that should change the game. I'm using some things such as, cosmetic skins that make, like, Rochelle into Zoe, but there still is another Zoe, obviously. And for some odd reason, I can't explain this, because the cheats that I'm using shouldn't end up affecting the game in the way that it is. So unless I really screwed up my game, or one of the mods that I'm running that's cosmetic only messes with the game file somehow, I don't know why I would be doing this. You see what I'm talking about getting interesting results? This myth is weird. So for now, I'm going to label this myth as busted. I don't think that legitimately there's any way that you can end up possessing the Left 4 Dead 1 crew unless you do it by the, of course, traditional means, where you're playing on their original maps and you're meant to play as them. If you're playing on The Passing, they seem to really just not be actual players. They literally are just 100% bots. And other than, of course, defending you and trying to watch your back, they're really nothing else that they are useful for other than just simply for being the purpose of being your bodyguards. So yeah, guys, that's going to be today's episode of Myth Busting Mondays. Really interesting results on all the myths, but they were still fun nonetheless. And I hope you guys ended up enjoying. And if you did, please consider dropping a like, comment, and subscribe to show your guys' support. If you would like to financially support the channel, I would definitely appreciate if you guys could go check out my Patreon. It's always linked down below in all my YouTube video descriptions. or you guys could use supporter creator code BlackNinja797 in all caps in the Fortnite Epic Games item shops, because that is very much appreciated, because Epic is my very first sponsor, and they were sponsoring today's video, so shout out to Epic Games. And yeah, guys, I hope you end up enjoying another YouTube video for the most unique YouTuber you guys are ever going to see. Thank you for watching, guys, and peace out.
Hey, meme lords, Jesus here, and you better have enjoyed that video there by the eternal god Daddy Ninja. You should probably subscribe too, or the mighty Moab will come for your balls. If you enjoyed the video, you might like it too, and give me the memes. Flash, bang, boom!